viewers. Okay, so this is Michael Cohen before.
It has the date on it.
February, what is that, 14th? 13th. In a private transaction in 2016, I used my own personal funds to facilitate a payment of $130,000 to Ms. Stephanie Clifford. Neither the Trump Organization, and then it continues, nor the Trump campaign was a party to the transaction with Ms. Clifford, and neither reimbursed me for the payment either directly or indirectly.
Claiming that Michael Cohen, the president's lawyer and fixer, the Ray Donovan character, never ever told Donald Trump about it.
Never told him.
Mr. Cohen has maintained that he formed that LLC on his own, unbeknownst to Mr. Trump, unbeknownst to the Trump Organization, that he drafted the documents.
And that he did it just out of loyalty to his friend Donald Trump.
Correct. He expects the American people to believe that he spent all this time and energy, hours upon hours, doing all of this work, and the president never knew anything about it, and no one in the Trump Organization ever knew anything about it. If you look at the first document that you showed your viewers in the upper left-hand corner, it designates Ms. Martin as a representative, a legal representative of EC LLC. It's right there in the upper left-hand corner.
And now, she is a full-time employee of the Trump Organization.
She is a full-time employee, as evidenced by the State Bar page, as evidenced by the LinkedIn page. She has no other job. She's a vice president and a general counsel of the Trump Organization. Anderson, why isn't your name on the contract? Why isn't my name on the contract? Why isn't his name on the contract? If Mr. Cohen's to be believed, all of our names should be on the contract. The fact of the matter is the story does not hold up. And Section 8.6 of the agreement specifically required all parties to sign the agreement. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you during your bombastic comments. Please let me finish. 8.6 of the agreement provides that all parties are to sign the agreement. All parties did not sign the agreement. Here's another reason why this argument is full of holes. There are specific provisions in the agreement, consideration, that only Donald Trump could provide. It's not just about the $130,000.
What do you mean specific consideration?
If you look at the agreement, in exchange for what my client was to provide, she was to receive $130,000 plus other things. What do I mean by that? Donald Trump was to release her of potential claims that he might have against her. Donald Trump was to agree to stay away from her and her family. Donald Trump was to do all sorts of things laid out in that agreement. Now, Mr. Cohen, if he was only representing EC LLC, as the claim has been made, how could he release or how could he provide that consideration, those terms that my client bargained for?
Why do people enter into these contracts? People, CEOs, doctors, lawyers, politicians, they enter into these contracts to avoid litigation.
Yeah.
They do it to protect family. They do it to protect reputation and business.
The question is, who paid this hush money and why? Why did Stormy Daniels get $130,000 on the eve of the election? Michael Cohen has been saying this was just me. The candidate Trump, the Trump Organization had nothing to do with it. These documents, they don't prove, but they certainly suggest that the Trump Organization has been intimately involved in the effort to keep Stormy Daniels quiet from the beginning.
Michael Cohen will not rest. There's a damages clause in that contract, okay? A contract is a contract is a contract.
And if you breach a contract, you get reimbursed the money that was owed.
Per breach.
No court is going to enforce that.
Okay, but all right, so it's not 20 million, is it 5 million?
No, it's going to be 130,000.
Michael Cohen never told him about the agreement. I can tell you that. And you asked a whole bunch of questions, so let me cover that. So you asked about 12 days before.
Not aware about the agreement. What about the money?
He was not aware about any of it. He was not aware.
Okay.
He wasn't told about it. Michael Cohen left the option open. That's why he left that signature line. The option open to go to him. He chose not to.
Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, is out front to respond. And Michael, you think this assertion that Trump did not know about the money or about the non-disclosure agreement itself is a significant admission. Why?
Well, I almost did not come on the show tonight, Aaron, because I'd prefer that Mr. Schwartz come on your show, because every time he speaks on television, my case gets that much better. So I was hoping he would come on the show, because what happened last night was disastrous for Mr. Cohen and Mr. Trump. Those admissions are very, very damaging, because if what he says is true, and I have some serious questions as to whether it is true, if what he says is true.
As to whether the president knew or didn't know. But if he did not know.
If he did not know, then the NDA is invalid and our case is a home run. And so I don't know what these guys are thinking. It's like they're not communicating, they're not paying attention. Let me say this. I hope that David Schwartz is not entrusted with the nuclear launch codes, because if so, we're in a lot of trouble.